Afternoon, students. Are you hearing my voice? Right. So before going to the today's concept, I have to share my screen. In the last class, we had a glance over constitutional development uh, of India, and again we'll see the constitutional development in a detailed manner today. Okay. So when you see the constitutional development, which starts from the colonial period onwards. Okay, so constitution is the basic principle and laws of a nation, a state, or a social group that determine the powers and duties of the government and guarantee certain rights to the people in it. It is a written instrument embodying the rules of political or social organization. It is a method in which a state or society is organized and sovereign power is distributed. A constitution is a set of fundamental duties, fundamental principles, according to which a state is constituted or governed. The Constitution specifies the basic allocation of power in a state or decides who gets to decide what the laws will be. The Constitution first defines how a parliament will be organized and empowers the parliament to decide the laws and policies. The Constitution sets some limitations on the government as to what extent a government can impose rules and policies on its citizen. These limits are fundamental in the sense that government may never trespass them. The Constitution enables the government to fulfill the aspirations of a society and create conditions for a just society. The British came to India in 1600 as traders in the form of East India Company, which had the exclusive right of trading in India under the charter granted by Queen Elizabeth I in 1765, after the Battle of Buxar. The company obtained the Diwani, rights over revenue and civil justice of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. This started its career as a territorial power. In 1858, in the wake of Sipai Mutiny, the British Crown assumed direct responsibility for the governance of India. This rule continued until India was granted the independence on 15th August 1947. With the independence came the need of constitution. A constituent assembly was formed for this purpose in 1946. On 26 January 1950, the constitution came into being. However, various features of Indian constitution and polity have their roots in the British rule. There are certain events in the British rule that laid down the legal framework for the organization and functioning of government and administration in British India. These events have greatly influenced our constitution and polity. When you start from the Regulating Act of 1773, which is one of the most important act which initiated in the framing of Indian Constitution. Regulating Act of 1773. The act designated the Governor General as a Governor General of Bengal, and the first Governor General of Bengal was Lord William Hastings. The act subordinated the Governor of Bombay, Madras to be Governor General of Bengal, and the Supreme Court established at Fort Williams at Calcutta as the apex court in 1774. Okay, these are certain provisions according to Regulating Act of 1773. When you see Pitt's India Act of 1784, the act established board of control over the court of directors to guide and supervise the affairs of company in India, and it was introduced to remove the drawbacks of regulating act, and it was named after the British Prime Minister. The act placed the Indian affairs under the direct control of the British government. Okay, so these are certain provisions under the Pitt's India Act of 1784. When you see Charter Act of 1833, um, the act which is see the company's monopoly of trade with India was completely abolished. Okay, the company's monopoly over the Indian trade, which is completely abolished. The act created the post of Governor General of India, and it made the Governor General of Bengal as a Governor General of India. The first Governor General of India was Lord William Bentinck, and governments of Bombay and Madras were deprived of their legislative powers, and this was final step towards centralization of British India, and the act ended with the activities of East India Company as a commercial body. When you see Charter Act of 1853, and in 1853, the Charter Act of 1833 was to time out and found to be renewed. This and it was renewed, but no substantial changes were made, and legislative and executive councils were separated. Councils were separated, and the Charter Act of 1833 provided the Haileybury College of London should make quota to admit the future civil servants. However, this system, however, uh, this system of an open competition was never effectively operated. A committee under the chairmanship of Lord Macaulay had prepared the regulations in the context. Okay, so when you see when you see the Government Act of 1858, which is the main act which is just okay. So the act of okay, so the Government Act of 1858, and British Crown assumed sovereignty over India from East India Company, and it provided absolute imperial control without any particular participation in administration of the country. And this act transferred the government territories and revenues of India from East India Company to British Crown, and the rule of company was replaced by the rule of crown in India, and the powers of British Crown were to be exercised by Secretary of the State for India, and the power The Secretary of State was a member of British cabinet, and he was assisted by Council of India, and having 15 members. Okay, he was vested with complete authority and control over Indian administration through the Governor General as his agent. Okay, so he was responsible ultimately to the British Parliament. The Governor General was the Viceroy of India, and Lord Canning was the first Viceroy who the Governor General turned into the Viceroy of India, and the first Viceroy was the Lord Canning, who was the first Viceroy of British India in 1858. When you see Indian Councils Act of 1861, it introduced for the first time, and the representative constitutions in India. It proved that the Governor General's Executive Council should have some Indians as a non-official members, while transacting the legislative business. The act initiated the process of decentralization by restoring the legislative powers to the Bombay and Madras presidencies, and it accorded the statutory recognition to the portfolio system. Okay. So in the Indian Councils Act of 1774, the Act introduced the principle of elections, but principles of election, but in an indirect manner, and it enlarged the functions of legislative councils and gave them the poor of discussing the budget and getting address discussing the budget and addressing questions to the executive. Okay, so when you see these are certain acts which taken place before the 1900. Okay, these are certain acts. Indian Councils Act of 1892, Indian Councils Act of 1861, and Government of India Act 1858, and a Charter Act of 1853, Charter Act of 1833, and Pitt's India Act 1784, um, and Regulating Act 1773. And likewise, you have certain introduction acts you find in the history of constitutional development. Okay, so and this is end of my class today, and I will give you these certain provisions in the act, and these certain acts which boost the Indian Constitution basically, and the majority part of the provisions from the these acts which is taken by her to the introduction of Indian Councils Act. Okay, so this is end of my class today, and tomorrow I'll start with Indian Council Act for 1909, and Government of India Act of 1919, and we'll see a separate class. We'll see about this Act of 1935 in a separate class. Okay, so dear students, this is end of my class today, and regarding this Councils Act or in the Charter Act or Pitt's India Act, just you welcome to ask me. Okay, so you have any queries regarding this constitutional development, or you want to share anything regarding the constitutional development? Now you are welcome to. స్టూడెంట్స్ ఆర్ హియరింగ్?
ఓకే సార్,
ఈ
వినబడుతుంది.
ఓకే. సో ఈ కాన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ డెవలప్మెంట్కి సంబంధించి ఏదైతే 1773 నుంచి చార్టర్ యాక్ట్ నుంచి మనం చెప్పుకున్నామో, సో ఏదైతే 1858 గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా యాక్ట్ 1858 వరకు మనం మాట్లాడుకున్నాం, వీటికి సంబంధించి ఏమన్నా డౌట్లు కానీ ఏమన్నా మీకు చెప్పాలనుకుంటే విషయాలు మీరు షేర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఉన్నాయా ఏమన్నా?
ఏం లేదు సార్.
సరే,
నో సార్.
రైట్. మరి ending my class now and I will meet you again in the tomorrow's class.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.